I'ma get it, you know I be on the way.
It's Wednesday night, time for a hump day fight. 40 of iRacing's best in a carbon fiber slugfest. Esport aces, mechanical maniacs, over-the-wall weekend warriors, hometown track heroes, and even boys from the big leagues. Oh, we've got characters, all right. Strapped in the sim rig, poised to strike. We're set to battle it out each and every lap. So grab your popcorn. This is Thunderclap.
Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.
Contact forward for the lead.
He blocks checkered flag, James C. White, 5.025 seconds.
It is going to be Ryan Truex.
I'm far ahead and gotta run last. But we ain't letting up, we never done that. Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the way. Yeah.
They are wrecking just like that. Oh, a humongous impact.
A new era in sim racing broadcasting always begins with a vision. Tonight, the vision is set forward for the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the SRI Stock Car Steel and Aluminum 225 here on Grid Vision. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's action under the lights from Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Justin Pritz, alongside the booth tonight is Brian Britt, our producer Austin Derbyshire, as we get all set for 150 laps, 225 miles of action. Lots to discuss when it comes to tonight, but these drivers get set for the challenge with the next-gen cars at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a crazy race here tonight at Charlotte. Of course, tire wear is going to be important. The tri-oval at the front, or should I say quad-oval, here at Charlotte can be quite dangerous when you're side by side. Of course, looking at the track conditions at the moment, 72 degrees trackside, 69 degrees ambient. So fairly cool, and I do believe we're going to be racing into the night here, Justin. So it's going to be probably getting cooler as we go on.
Lots to consider for tonight. Drivers already getting themselves situated and ready to go for tonight's start of the race. Qualifying already completed a few minutes ago. 42 entrants on the list for tonight. As we get all set to go, thank you to Dr. Happ for following along as we get ready to see how these drivers will follow along to the green flag tonight. Samuel Given, just his second start of the season, sees him on the pole tonight. He'll start alongside the 79 of Burleson. Anthony Burleson starts in front of the double 8 of Mark McCrary. Matt Cherry rounds out the top 4. In the 5th position tonight, Scott Famosa, Lucas Whitehead, James Seawright, Jordan Jurassic, the top 8. Sean Bounty, second in the point standing, starts in 9th. Matt Garrett rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, of course, Adam Schramm's going to be starting in 11th with Greg Vial in 12th. 13th going to be Noah Wainwater, Raindrop, as you always call him. 14th, Montgomery in the 9 machine. 15th, Saturday's Xfinity winner, I do believe Ryan Truex going to be starting in 15th. Of course, 16th, Cherrick in the 83 machine. 17th, 25, Robert Condon. 18th, Robert Walton. 19th, Josh Ball to be exact. Of course, rounding out the top 20 is the 81 of Dennis.
National Corner starts in 21st with Damian Neeson in 22nd. Justin Clapper starts off in the 23rd position. The 34 machine of Chase Leahy starts off in 24th with Greg McConey back in 25th. Daniel Haff 26th, Nicholas Tomlinson 27th with TJ Lee alongside. Ryan Zunk also part of that winning crew for Ryan Truex's first career NASCAR Xfinity Series victory. He and Ryan Truex, the first 2 members to win on the same weekend in series history. They'll start alongside the number 7 car. That is Seth Gajadoris, rounding out your top 30.
Of course, J.D. Woodward's going to be starting in 31st. Bobby Grant, I do believe, in 32nd. Brandon Schumann, 33rd. Mark McFadden in 34th. 35th, Freeman. Of course, I do believe 36th, I should say, is Reed Foley. 37th, Gosselin. 38th, Tommy Allen Jr. 39th, Diebold, Roger Diebold to be exact. Of course, rounding out the top 40 is the 20 of Newkirk, and 41st is Tyler Truex, and rounding out this 42-car field is Cole Gajidoris. So definitely a 42-car field. This is quite the field to be out here at Charlotte. I do believe we're probably going to be getting the call to have the pace car lights go out. But let's take a look at the points, Justin.
Ryan Truex coming into tonight as the points leader, the only driver to win in all three types of cars utilized in Thunderclub competition. Sean Bounty's been very competitive, though. 2 victories this season in 7 starts. Josh Ball led the way in points for a little while, back in 3rd. Then you have John Freeman and Stefan Sherrick amongst the top 5. 97 points, that separation in the top 5 so far in the standings. We'll see how drivers fare out in turn in the midst of that. Keep an eye, though, on Mark McCrory. He's been quick part of the season, and parts of it, should say. Just been about the consistency to get to the end in the top 10, it seems, with the double for the 88 machine. But as we get all set to go, an EOL has been awarded to the 14 of Grant due to technical issues. Outside of that, keys to victory tonight, Brian.
Yeah, I think the keys to victory are going to be patience as well as just hitting your marks. I mean, Charlotte, of course, is not like a lot of the other mile and a halves. This place is quite technical. I mentioned that front stretch. I wouldn't even call that really a straightaway. That's kind of adding 2 extra turns to this racetrack. But I would keep an eye on Sean Bounty. He's won 2 in a row. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he won last week at Talladega in the Xfinity car. This guy could be keeping that momentum going, Justin.
Glad to have you with us for the SRI 225. Thunderclub iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated Action. Samuel Given on the pole. Second start of the campaign, Burleson alongside. All set to go, coming to the TLC start zone. We're underway for the green flag.
Yeah, already a great start there from Samuel Givens. First ever pole, and I do believe first ever start here. What a fantastic job. It looks like he's going to be challenged, I do believe, on the bottom here by McCrary. Side by side, McCrary got a little bit tight, almost up into the 76.
McCrary able to zip by to the race lead to start things off quickly. Given, shuffle back to second. Famosa side by side with Seawright already. A lot of shuffling after the start of this one. 2-3 wide off of 4.
A lot of guys already battling. You could tell very aggressive. We didn't even talk about, I do believe, the stages for this race, 15 and 35. So, of course, that'll be coming to, I do believe, 16 that the caution will come out for the stages, and 36 for stage number 2. Now, we talked about how limited these guys are going to be on tires and fuel. You mentioned it. It's around 40 laps on the fuel window. These guys do have 4 tire changes down in the pits as well, Justin.
Going to be very critical to think big picture tonight as we see the heart of the pack. Up
oh,
top.
problems for the 76.
Oh,
Gibbons
right
around.
Burleson spins it down the racetrack, but because it's only 1 car down there, no caution. We stay green, so the pole sitter with a disastrous start. McCrary and Seawright now look to fight for the lead as everybody else looks to fight for 4th on back now.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit of a gap working there. A half a second distance between first and second. And, of course, 7/10 between second and third. As we take a look at the replay, it looks like the 76 of Givens got into the outside wall there. That got incredibly lucky there for Formosa. Formosa almost got in that.
Military veteran with the first incident of the race, dropping to the back of the pack as a result of that one to 40th spot. Looking up towards the front. Right, trying to pull away from Formosa. Matt Cherry looking to keep the 80 within distance. Already 3/10 the difference between 3rd and 4th. Difference between 1st and 2nd, nearly a full second.
This is such a tough track. I mean, especially in 3 and 4, you really have to run the bottom line in 3 and 4. And 1 and 2, you can kind of run a little bit higher. You can see a lot of these guys arcing it quite a bit. But in 3 and 4, you really want to stay down to that blue and white line. And you're seeing a lot of drivers kind of doing that, fighting to try to stay on the bottom. And if you try to stay high in 3 and 4, you're going to probably hit that wall on exit. And I think that's kind of what we saw there from Given.
Take a look at Lucas Whitehead in the 33. Pork Chop trying to stay in front of many of these drivers in the midst of the pack. So far, we've seen decent runs from the Tennessee native. Gas Station's tank compliance tester looking to see how drivers test the lines, because the top can work here after a bit. We're seeing a few drivers prefer the bottom, few trying to make the passes on the top so far, such as back here.
Yeah, looking back here, I see 46 of TJ Lee trying to make something well. I do believe that is for the 21st position. Greg McConey looks like he's starting to struggle a little bit. We saw him actually on the front stretch go down below the apron. Of course, this is AstroTurf here. It is not like a lot of other tracks where it's grass, but it still does not provide a lot of grip.
Different look for the 12th machine here tonight. Currently keeping an eye on the side-by-side in front. That's TJ Lee, by the way, making the pass on Leahy. Of that grouping, Dennis right in front of him in one of the Speed Kings e-motorsports cars. Already coming up to halfway, in fact, past halfway for stage one. Stage points starting to become important to think about with the championship complexion. Ryan Truex currently the first of those, or rather the last of those in the stage points. Garrett amongst those, trying to hold on to the midst of some of the fights, though, inside the stage points. Whitehead, Noah Rainwater also in the fight.
Yeah, I'm watching this battle for fifth place. James Seawright, of course, was up in second just a lap or so ago. He's already back now to, I do believe, sixth place position. He was stuck up on the top, and that allowed Jurassic in the sixth machine to be able to drive by him. You see Jurassic kind of wrapping right around the bottom here. We're already seeing a little bit of fall off, but not as much as I kind of expected here 8 laps into this race.
Yeah, that's a great point to mention, because here's the thing, just double check. Seawright has lost 2 seconds, Brian, in the past 4 laps. Jurassic looking from the back end of. Some drivers have really fallen back. Him and Burleson going backwards now.
Yeah, I think Seawright just keeps getting stuck up on the top, and all these guys are running on the bottom. He does finally get clear in front of Matt Garrett. Garrett was trying to look to the inside. I do believe I just saw Lucas Whitehead kind of touch the wall a little bit there as well. So we're having some guys that are starting to struggle already. Of course, this is a fixed setup series, so they're going to have to adjust their driving style rather than the setup. Of course, these next gens can be quite hard to handle at these racetracks.
Coming up to 5 laps to go on the stage. Low up to second over Famosa. He started off in the 9th position in this race.
Yeah, he's looked fantastic thus far this season. I mean, I talked about it. He's won 2 in a row, and of course, he's looking like he's the fastest car on the track right now. Lap time-wise, he is the fastest. 30.185 last time by versus our leader, McCrary, 30.382. So that's 0.2 difference right there. So watch out for that 35.
Take a look, though, at Jurassic. Jurassic also amongst those slowly creeping ahead. Seawright amongst those trying to creep back forward. And we've seen the same type of speed from Jurassic a lot of times this campaign. Jurassic, one of those chartered from JCR. Looking to the outside now of Cherry for 5th.
Well, Charlotte is definitely one of those tracks that I think exemplifies the fact that, you know, the first 5 laps of a run are so important. You can't burn those tires up or overheat them too quickly. It'll affect the rest of the run. So I think that a lot of these guys pushed it a little too hard on the start.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of drivers paying the price for the pushing. Samuel Given, especially back there. Montgomery's already back 10 spots in the first 13 laps now of this race. Jurassic in turn, back up now to the 4th position. Part of the pack still heating up, trying to get stage points, coming to 2 laps to go on the stage. As near contact, Whitehead not able to get along to the clear line. Whitehead outside.
Yeah, I see Whitehead and Noah Rainwater kind of side by side. I'm seeing a lot of wisdom, though, from Ryan Truex. He's right on the edge of the top 10. Of course, he won that race at Dover on Saturday, so he knows what he needs to do to win a race. This ain't Dover, of course, but still, I think that he has the skills and wisdom in order to stay out of trouble, and I think that's what he's trying to do at the moment.
Pit lane is closed, so Roberts now looking to close out the stage here. Looking up at the front, McCrary has led all the laps so far. Had pace at tracks like Phoenix so far this campaign, looking to get himself some stage points and a stage victory here to close it out over Bounty. One to go on the stage, presented by RL Productions. Final lap of stage 1.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be able to challenge him here. Last time by, he was the fastest car on the track. That clean air, or was one of the fastest cars, I should say. That clean air is very important, especially in this next gen, and at a track like Charlotte. Clean air can be so key. Now, in the first 10 or 5 or 10 laps of the run, draft is going to be pretty huge. But once the tires start to wear, it's going to be important as we come to the final corners here for stage 1.
Stage 1 winner, car 88. Mark McCrary wins the first stage over Sean Bounty. Mimosa, Jurassic Cherry the top 5, Whitehead, Sea Right, Garrett, Rainwater, and Ryan Truex finishing the top 10 and record stage points under the stage caution. Tonight's action brought to you by SRI. They are your all-inclusive performance parts warehouse for hardcore engine builders and racers. Stocking over 450 product lines, SRI has everything you need to find victory lane in your real racing rig in your sim rig. 2 convenient locations in Indianapolis and Mooresville, North Carolina to keep you close to track for all your parts and performance needs. Now through May 10th, enjoy 10% off MPI steering wheels and racing gloves with the code THUNDERMPI2310. Head to SRIperformance.com now to view our second to none inventory and take one step closer to your next win. Under caution for the first time today, with Creation's caution flag, we'll see which drivers in turn, Brian, elect to take the stage pit stop or who elects to stay on the track until the end of stage 2.
This is definitely going to be quite the gamble here. You know, if you go down pit road right now and take those tires, it's going to probably give you some stage points for stage 2 because you'll be much faster than the rest of the drivers. I mean, probably a couple tenths faster at least. But of course, if the guys stay out, they're gonna start to really wear those tires out quite a bit. But it looks like for the most part, everybody has decided to stay out. Really, I like this call. I mean, they do have one set of tires to play with if a caution comes out later in this race, and I think they want to save them for that. We do have a couple that have decided to come down, I do believe.
Diebold, Montgomery, Lee, Schramm, Hoff, Zung, Truman amongst those coming in. First pit stops of the race, so at least 10-15 drivers electing to gamble, top off, or to take a tire set. With that, we're under caution for the first time tonight for the SRI 225. More coverage continues right after this. You're watching Grid Vision for Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated Action.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores, you can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no-obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no-obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. And let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated on what's going on.
Welcome back to Thunderclap iRacing Series Action presented by TLC Incorporated, premier service provider for lawn sprinklers. landscape lighting, drainage services, and garage makeovers. 40 years of experience. In just one day, your home can become a showcase with a new water-saving lawn sprinkler system, an efficient landscape lighting system energy-wise, or a brand new garden makeover, garage makeover, and floor that will last you a lifetime. Imagine all the possibilities if you give your yard just a little TLC. Operating in the Maryland, DC, and Virginia area, call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. Getting ready to restart tonight's action. Yes, all right, 225. McQuarrie leading the way over Bounty, Jurassic, Famosa, and Cherry, your top 5. Your first drivers on either tires or new added off fuel are 28th on back, Brian. So most of the drivers electing to wait to the end of stage 2 before pitting.
Yeah, a lot of drivers deciding to come down pit road there. I mean, it's quite a bit of drivers. I'm kind of surprised. We kind of thought the strategy was going to be to, stay out. But some guys are going to be gambling here. I hope a caution doesn't come out later. And that's, if it does, that's going to really bite them, just considering they might be out of tires if it does happen.
First of those taking 4 tires appears to be fully all the way back in the 36th position, though. To the TLC restart zone we go for the green flag. McQuarrie off and away. Back to racing. Everybody else behind him with a little bit of a bogged down start with the tire spin.
Yeah, I saw that with Scott Formosa. He had a little bit of some wiggling there. And that's the thing, what happens if you stay out on those old tires, you will have some wheel spin. That has allowed McQuarrie to pull out to over a half a second now, as we see side by side, I do believe, for third place, Jurassic in the 6 machine, trying to see if he can't take advantage of the bunkled start there for Formosa.
Not able to, but Formosa way up the hill. Comes Jurassic, nowhere to go. A lot of arrow push at side by side still for second. Already, the arrows starting to become a major factor. McQuarrie already running off and away by nearly a second in the clean air. Formosa still looking to clear.
Yeah, that clean air definitely has been very significant, as Sean Boundy has definitely been looking quick, though. But Formosa, I think, has the preferred line. But you mentioned it before, that when the tires start to wear, that top side's going to be kind of a play that'll actually be an option. It seems like that might be the case here. But look at Formosa in 3 and 4. He's got the preferred line on the bottom. I think 1 and 2 is the place you want to be on the top side. But look at the 6 of Jurassic. He is picking Kingmaker, playing Kingmaker in a lot of ways here.
King's machines at the bottom of the racetrack. The independent up top of the battle for second. So having to crack the throttle. Looks like he's letting him go. He said, you know what? I'm backing it up. Jurassic in the JCR car now up to third with that choice. And Formosa has everybody saying, you know what? I'm going to go too then.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of spots here. Looks like the bottom lane might not be the place to be anymore. But here comes Jurassic to the inside of Bounty. Can he make something happen for second place? Of course, Formosa's not a man to play around with, as we also see, I do believe, Lucas Whitehead paddling, I do believe, with Formosa still. But now Formosa has come under fire from Ryan Truex, of course, who finished 10th in that last stage. He's looking to better that position for stage 2.
Jurassic stuck at the bottom. Cherry nearly hits the wall. Here comes JC right with the run. Nowhere to take it. Whitehead now clear. So is Ryan Truex of Formosa. 2 by 2. Bounty playing the lanes. A lot of that right front tire wear starting to kick in. Lots of drivers struggling side by side, pushing up the track.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be pushing up the track on that front stretch. You can see just how the angles on that front stretch kind of work to where these guys get so close to that wall. And Matt Cherry got really close there for Jurassic. I think he just got a little bit of a kiss on the wall.
Just avoided significant contact. Looking at C. Wright. Looks to get up to Jurassic. Jurassic starting to try and use the banking as a bit of a diamond slash ramp. C. Wright not able to take advantage, though, as they stay in line. So already 10 laps to go in the stage. Right now it's Ball, who is last in the top 10 at stage points. This is the battle for 11th. Cherrick battling with Robert Condon in the 25 machine.
Yeah, Sherrick is always really quick as well. Of course, you see Condon right there. He's trying to move up to the top. Not quite able to get there. I think Sherrick is going to be able to move away. Can he draft up there to Ball, though, of course, to try to get into the points? You see Greg McConey. He struggled a little bit early in stage 1, but he's now back up into 12th right now, so he's looking good. I think that 12 machine is handling very well at the moment. I'm surprised we haven't seen any of the drivers on the fresh tires start to show up.
Reference Coney driving with, I believe, the Kobe Bryant color scheme tonight. So we take a look at Garrett. Still zipping around the racetrack. Garrett now back in that 10th position amongst those with Ryan Truex. His respective squad trying to hold on to the stage points now for the next few laps or so. Garrett, remember, was amongst those sliding back before the end of stage 1. Side by side, right in front of him, Cherry still sliding back.
Yeah, I was just taking a look back here to the back. The first guy that's on new tires is Roger Diebold in the 25th position. It seems like tires don't really help you out if you got a whole lot of drivers to get through. I mean, everybody pretty much for the most part is double file throughout this track.
Oh, and Matt Cherry with contact. Whitehead with a save right in front of the field. Cherry drives down. There goes Whitehead into the wall. No caution yet. Famoso avoiding the back end of Whitehead. We stay green as Vile gets loose. Everybody keeps on going.
I am shocked that did not end in a caution. I mean, it completely was sideways. Luckily, they were able to save it, but it has bunched up a lot of drivers back here. Formosa kind of all up in the hornet's nest. 3 wide.
Take a look at the quick replay. Still 3 wide in live action, but this is what triggered everyone bunched up. Whitehead now with a broken tie rod possibly from this.
You see right there, yeah, huge hit on the outside wall right there. In the middle, I do believe 3 and 4, but still 3 wide. Contact with Whitehead. They're wrecking right now. The 76 of Given, who started on the pole. Yellow flag is out. A bunch of drivers. Huge damage here, Justin.
Ryan Zunk flies and floors it into the crash, hitting Burleson. And we're under yellow with the big one in turn 1. You could kind of see it happening with the damage Whitehead was dealing with, and everybody wanted to get by the 33.
Somebody's bumper sitting there in the grass. That was a big one. I can't wait to look back at this.
It just looked like the contact of the quad over, but then everybody joins in. This is about the 20s.
Yeah, the whole track was blocked there. You see the 76 of Given, our pole sitter, kind of had a little bit of contact with Whitehead, and once you have contact with these cars, a lot of times it acts like a magnet and pulls you right up into them even more, and that kind of just led to that domino effect of everybody just piling into each other. Take another look. You see right here, just a little touch is all it took, and they were just kind of connected.
At the 5, that's Freeman joining into the incident. Then you have Ryan Zunk. Watch. Wow.
Oh, that was a big hit. I think that was that Zunk or Burleson?
It was Zunk into Burleson.
Wow.
Ryan Zunk coming off the success in the Railroad and the Xfinity Series involved in the incident of 23. Here's the onboard. Keep in mind he was amongst those that appears to be trying to save since he was amongst those taking tires last caution.
See right here, he had plenty of time. I mean, oh, he almost missed it. He almost dropped down to the apron in time, but still caught a huge lick on that front end. If he had been about 6 inches further to the left, I think he'd have missed this.
First Eagleswood Creations caution flag. Ryan Zunk, Seth Gadjador is amongst those getting black flags as a result of the incident. As these drivers continue to pull off, Ryan Truex, Matt Garrett, Greg Vile amongst those taking tires during this caution period for their first used set. Again, this caution brought to you by Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for your laser engraving needs. From wood to acrylic, custom signs, earrings, keychains, coasters, and much, much more. Located in West Creek, New Jersey, but shipping nationwide. Items can be purchased and custom made via Etsy or through their website at eagleswoodcreations.com. Follow them today on Etsy, Facebook, and at Eagleswood Creations on Instagram. Under caution once more, just before the end of stage 2. And the confirmation is on the black flags for Zunk and Gadjador. And those respective drivers, 15 seconds stop and holds as a result of their incidents.
Yeah, I mean, they're already a lap down now, so if they have to, when the green flag comes out, they have to do a stop and hold. That is going to be pretty much a killer to the race. They're going to be having to hope that a caution comes out later in the race, but of course the damage, these guys, that is going to be something hard to come back from. I mean, those were heavy hits that you would see at a track like Talladega, let alone Charlotte.
Light still on top of the iRacing pace car here as Zunkamonstos just able to get some of the damage repairs done. So Lee and Zunkamonstos laps down. Dennis, as well as Cole Gachdoris, Amonstos getting significant damage repairs. In the case of the 42, keep in mind, that car did have a meatball flag after taking the green. Take a look at that car. It's been having trouble since the start. Not sure where it picked them up, the damage. Well, the damage came for the bumper, at least, for the crash. But before that, it's been dealing with engine problems since the start.
That's interesting. I'm surprised that he's been having issues like that. I'm wondering if possibly just was too far into the draft. I know recently with the updates, they have been making these next-gen cars, the engine temperature has been in something that these guys have been having to deal with a lot more here recently.
Drivers are now being told 1 lap shootout for the stage points. So we will add an additional lap for the stage and then throw the stage caution. So, how will this stage close out is the question. McCrary, Bounty, Seawright, Jurassic, the top 4. Ball, Cherry, Cherrick, McConey, Famosa, and Robert Condon is now in your top 10 for the points. But then you have Goslin and Clapper right on the doorstep looking to knock their way into the top 10 for the points.
I'll tell you what this is going to do. I mean, this is setting a fire to the rear end of a lot of these race cars, a lot of these drivers, I should say. I mean, we did see some guys take some strategies to take tires. Top 13 and 15th as well are on old tires still. Givens, I don't think, who started on the pole, I don't think he's been down pit road yet at all. And he was involved in that accident. We saw wheel spin before, Justin. I think we're going to see more here this time.
So how do you play this in the TLC restart zone to avoid the tire spin? Do you take the time loss, or how do you get the premium speed without the not-so-premium tire smokage and spin into the grass?
I don't know what you do here. I think McCreary handled himself very well on that last restart, so I think he might be okay, but I'm not sure what these guys are going to do. I mean, because it's really a huge decision here. I mean, you have so much pressure. You got 1 lap shootout. You got all these guys that are on new tires that are going to be they're going to have the ability and maneuverability, I should say, to make moves that you can't. So what do you do? I mean, you're really just in between a rock and a hard place right now.
Keep in mind the drivers who took tires under this caution, 16th on back for the restart. Look from Jurassic to the TLC restart zone. 1 lap to the side, stage 2. Green flag is out, and we're crashing!
Already.
Jurassic gets hit by Seawright. Seawright spins it back in front of the pack, and that's the stage.
And that's going to give McCrary the stage 1 victory. But yeah, definitely a wheel spin there from Seawright. Sent him up into Jurassic.
Third, Eagleswood Creations caution, second for cause of the night, as a result of a car, rather. And Seawright with the tire spin from the second row inside. Here's a look on board. Take a listen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just let him up. Let's take another swing at it.
Yeah, you hate to see that right there. But, I mean, that's one of the dangers here, starting on these old tires. I mean, the next-gen tire compound is so soft. A lot softer than, I'd say, the predecessor or the Xfinity or the truck.
Well, the field trying to catch up to the iRacing pace car for the Eagleswood Creations caution. McCrary, Bounty, Ball, Cherry, McConey, Famosa, Cherrick, Condon, Goslin, and Jurassic were scored in the top 10 at the stripe, it appears, for the stage points, as everyone who didn't pit to close out the last restart now come in for their first pit stops. 3 tire sets for them remaining in the pit lane after this respective sequence. Most of the others, though, as to be expected, staying out. They gain massive track positions, such as Garrett, Vile, Ryan Truex, and Noah Rainwater are the top 4 now.
Yeah, I like this call. I mean, they went into pit road a lap ago, really didn't even burn the tires up at all. I like this call.
So under caution for the SRI 225 once more. Drivers scoot their way away from the pit boxes. Take a quick scoot to the commercial breaks. You're watching Grid Vision.
Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for wood, acrylic, custom engravings such as signs, boards, earrings, and much, much more. You can follow them today on Facebook, Instagram, or you can check out their website, eagleswoodcreations.com.
Hey homeowners, you're going to drag your hose through the yard in 2023? There's a better way to water your lawn. TLC Incorporated has been installing custom and professional underground lawn sprinkler systems for over 38 years. Our team would be happy to come out to your property at your convenience and provide you with a free, no obligation quote for a new custom underground lawn sprinkler system for your home. No more dragging the hose. No more dry and dusty patches in your yard. Our smart lawn sprinkler systems will efficiently provide water to your lawn all season long with a healthy green grass from your front yard to your back. Click the blue Learn More button below and the team at TLC can start building the perfect lawn sprinkler system for your home right away. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's throw it back to the guys in the booth.
Welcome back to Grid Vision for tonight's action. It's again the SRI 225. SRI Performance is your all-inclusive performance parts warehouse for hardcore engine builders and racers. Stocking over 450 product lines, SRI has everything you need to find victory lane in your real racing rig and even your sim rig. Two convenient locations in Indianapolis and Morrisville, North Carolina. Keep it close to the track for all your parts and performance needs. Now through May 10th, enjoy 10% off MPI steering wheels and racing gloves with the code THUNDERMPI2310. Head to SRIperformance.com now to view our second to none inventory and take one step closer to your next win. Getting ready for the restart with about 110 laps to go. Of note, Justin Klopper having to come back down to pit road because of a fueling issue. So that'll put him in the back of the pack. But up at the front of the pack, it's Matt Garrett over Greg Vial amongst those staying out after pitting prior to the one-lap shootout. Ryan Truex, Noah Rainwater, row 2. Row 3, Robert Walton, Leahy in 6th. J.D. Woodward very quietly in 7th with D-Bolt in 8th. Brandon Schumann and Foley, the top 10 on the racetrack. The first drivers to pit from that previous caution to end the stage. Query all the way back around 12th position. All set to go for the TLC restart zone, Brian. It's been exciting so far.
Yeah, it definitely has been. I'm curious to see what we look like. This is when the race truly starts here as we get ready to get this thing going.
A two-stopper from here on gas. Green flag is out, back underway. And a bad launch for Noah Rainwater. Everybody else very clean and a caution. It's the back of the field. One car out into the grass for the Eagleswood Creations caution. Gadjador's in the 42. Also involved the 76, the pole sitter, Samuel Given. Also hearing the 33, Lucas Whitehead, 4 laps down, involved in the incident.
That's unfortunate. Lucas Whitehead already had quite significant damage. We're going to take a look back and see exactly what happened here. Huge damage, I think, on driver there. I have to take a look back and see exactly what took place.
Yeah, this is the very back of the queue.
Oh, wow. Oh!
That might be Seawright's night. And as you've seen, the 42 one lap down sent out for the infield by Lucas Whitehead.
Yeah, and Seawright got hit really hard from behind as well after the fact. See right here, I think he tried to get a jump. Tried to time it out.
Yeah, pretty sure you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to do that. Yeah.
Now, official races, we might see that. Normally, you don't expect that in Thunderclap.
Yeah, not at all. And I think race control, I think from what I've understood, is they have a little bit of a rule that if you cause 2 accidents, I think that they might end up parking you.
Waiting for the confirmation on that mark. As they've reached the pace car at the start and finish line. Garrett still the race leader in turn because the caution gonna be helpful for the fuel mileage. Because we were talking about this before the race. The 40 was on the conservative, or more so the aggressive, a 65-lap run, the estimate. Sometimes you get 63, sometimes 60, sometimes 67 on a track at a track like Charlotte. To be realistic here, this is very beneficial for everybody who pit the prior couple laps to be able to even up the mileage, just so to speak, with those who were able to come in a couple laps later.
Yeah, and of course, this is not a super speedway, but still, Charlotte is a big enough track to where I think that the guy that's in the lead, Matt Garrett, if he stays up there long enough, that's going to impact the amount of time he could spend out there on the racetrack as well. So he could still be very close when it comes to making it here. And it looks like Seawright misses his box there getting on the pit road.
Sammy Gibbon amongst those coming in for pit stops. Spec needs to tighten up here. In terms of the restart box or restart grouping. Hearing from the race control command. But the GVM machine of Matt Garrett still up at the front of the field. The New Egypt, New Jersey-based driver, member of the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, and also, by the way, is the spotter for Towers Truex Racing and Wolf Motorsports on the NASCAR Wheel Modified Tour. He's had some ups and downs this year. This is a very big up tonight so far from him with the race lead.
Yeah, 100%. He's doing a fantastic job up there in that first place position. I do want to talk about the 81 of Dennis, just getting his wave around there. He's going to make, I do believe, one of 37 that are still on the lead lap right now. Of course, there are a lot of drivers that are moving to the garage, I do believe. Lucas Whitehead, of course, we talked about him. I think that he is still going to be possibly on the track, but I do see TJ Lee, of course, 11 laps down. But do want to talk a little bit about as well. We talked a little bit about it. Ryan Truex winning on Saturday at Dover in the Xfinity race. And what a storybook weekend for the Truex family. So I got to know that Tyler is so proud of his family as well. Martin winning on Monday. I mean, you can't make that up. I do believe they're the 13th brothers that have won on a NASCAR race weekend.
Of course, that being the first Xfinity Series victory on the Saturday for Ryan Truex. And he came close to that earlier this year at Phoenix. Having a breakthrough finally at Dover. And it gave some people flashbacks to about a decade ago. A lot of people mentioning his runs back at Dover then as well. So good to see the speed that we've seen in the end from Ryan Truex. He dominated that day.
Yeah, you know that one thing too is I do believe Martin Truex Jr.'s first win was at Dover as well.
Yep. In fact, he's won a lot on Mondays. Just so happens Martin Truex Jr. Interestingly enough.
So, I mean, maybe Ryan Truex could be a future champion as well. That'd be something to see.
So, failure to yield Lucas Whitehead from the previous caution sequence. Not the most recent. Outside of that, getting all set for the restart. It's Garrett, Vile, Truex. Once the top three, Ryan Truex specifically. Outside line, Leahy. It looks like Robert Walton might not realize he needs to be outside row 2. Now he goes
lights
there.
are out. Yeah, I mean, okay, there he goes.
Rainwater and Leahy now the top 6. Want to give this quick time to mention that there are 4 drivers tonight in SRI colors and with the logos across their cars tonight. Rainwater, the highest running of them currently. Seen a lot of Rainwater. In fact, just about 3 of the 4 so far. The SRI cars have done well. Rainwater's done well. Condon's done very well. Clapper looking to do well in the end. And Cherry's been up at the front, representing SRI and stock car steel and aluminum.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if those guys are running SRI equipment, it seems like it's giving them somewhat of an advantage here. You love to see it. I'm glad to have them involved with the Thunderclap series.
Coming up to the TLC restart zone. Garrett, control. Green, green, green. Right at the very edge of the box. Ryan Truex times it up. In fact, teammates, 3 of the top 4 for E-Timer Truex Racing.
Yeah, those guys are going to give each other a little bit of an easier time, but maybe not. Greg Vial up on the top, side by side now with Ryan Truex for 2nd place. For the most part, everybody behaving. A little bit of problems further back. I do believe outside of the top 10. Schumann, Montgomery, I do believe having some issues, some more contact.
One sliding off the track is a 71 Goslin, bringing out the Eagleswood Creations caution. Daniel Haft into it as well. Newkirk might have also picked up damage, yes, to the left front. So it's Goslin.
As well.
Justin Goslin going around for the caution flag, the independent driver.
A lot of damage on that race car, so take a look back. It was a cluster of race cars. You see McCrary driving down onto the apron there as well. Oh, man, what a sight that had to be to see that 71 coming back up in front of you like that.
Let's go on board with Goslin, the Winter Haven, Florida-based driver.
He had that wheel all the way turned, I do believe, cocked to the left, but unfortunately, once the tires started gripping again, that caused him to shoot right all the way back up to the wall.
So under caution once again. So both the drivers based out of Winter Haven, Florida, Justin Goslin, as well as James Seawright, not having the funnest of nights towards the middle portions of this evening's action. So we are getting ready to approach 100 to go in this race.
Yeah, I hope that they live in the same town. I mean, if they wreck each other, they probably could go to each other's houses and fight.
I don't think they've been involved in each other's incidents yet.
Well, that's good. I hope they don't, because, I mean, they're pretty close to one another.
Lucky Dog, 42 car, Cole, Gajdoris. Pit stops for about 27th on back in this sequence. So as we have this opportunity, there is also the Cup points, keep in mind, when it comes to this series. There's the overall points, but there's also by the car type when you think about things, because we do run all 3 types of cars when it comes to the series. And the last time I ran off with the Cup cars, it was a few weeks ago. In fact, it was at Martinsville Speedway. Ryan Truex leading the way in the Cup points over John Freeman. J.D. Woodward with a victory in the Cup cars in 3rd. Garrett is actually top 4 in Cup car points, but 2 top 5s in 3 Cup car starts. Checkered, the top 5, 42 points of separation.
Yeah, he's definitely been having a fantastic season thus far, and it's also doing well in the overall points. I mean, he sits 6th right now at the moment, of course. We talked about Ryan Truex being the only driver that has won in all 3 race cars. I think Sean Bounty might have a chance to possibly do that exact same thing at some point, just considering I do believe he's won in the Cup and the Xfinity.
We'll have to keep an eye on Bounty as the season goes along. His victories were actually back-to-back. Martinsville, Talladega. Can he make it 3 straight?
Well, and those are, 2 significantly different tracks, Justin.
Yeah, going from NASCAR's smallest to one of its largest in terms of ovals.
Yeah, both of them can be probably just as frustrating, but for probably different reasons. But, man, what a race we've seen thus far. We've seen quite a lot of drama, I'd say, on the racetrack, and I don't know if we're done yet. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this kind of all plays out, but this is definitely helping these guys make it on fuel. That's for sure. I don't think Matt Garrett, I was kind of putting a question mark beside him, but I think that he should be good because of these cautions.
Once again, some of the front runners have not come in since 17 laps ago. The first of those who pit during the stage break after stage 2 is Ball and McCrary. They are back in 10th and 12th respectively. Those wanting to keep a track on how things playing out there. So far, just one, make it 2 drivers in the TLC Garage Works garage area. TJ Lee, you also have Bobby Grant with technical issues earlier tonight. Did not even finish too many laps, only 1 lap before he parked it for the evening. Everybody else looking to try and see if they can make it to the full darkness here at the track.
Looks like the pace car lights are out. I think we have just enough time to shout out one of our Grid Vision sponsors, which is simsearch.com. Are you an iRacing setup builder wanting to make a little extra money off your building? Do you have an old wheel or pedal sitting in your closet collecting dust? You may want to offer iRacing painting services. SimSearch.com is a virtual flea market that is specifically tailored to sim enthusiasts. Check them out today at SimSearch.com.
Get it all set to go for the restart here. Still going to be very interesting. The interesting thing to note is I mentioned 3 of the top 4 team structure-wise are E-Tower Truex Racing drivers. It's important to note that Greg Via was also working with them tonight, so your whole top 4 is on the same count for the restart zone.
That's definitely going to help them out quite a bit. It just depends. I mean, a lot of times, even though these guys are on the same team, I mean, I've seen it time and time again, Justin. A lot of these, even though you're on the same team, sometimes you don't really you're not as cohesive as you think you should be, you know?
See how this restart plays out through the TLC restart zone. Yes, all right, 225, but a third of the way through as they hit the stripe. Laps led, by the way, McCrary, Garrett, the only 2 leaders so far tonight. That change in a minute. Looking for the back end of Garrett. TLC restart zone for the green flag, right to the edge of the box, back underway.
Fairly tame restart there from the top 2. You see Greg Vile still side by side for the lead, but I do believe Garrett's going to have the advantage into turn 1 and 2. But Vile looks like he's going to have enough room to get down in front of Ryan Truex here. Still side by side, quite a little bit ways back. I do believe we see Leahy getting awfully close to Robert Walton.
The first side-by-sides involving D-Bolt as well. Up the hill goes Leahy. D-Bolt looking to make some charges now in that colorful 38. Miller Rainwater preferring the top for now. J.D. Woodworth battling with the country music star in Foley.
Yeah, Foley's definitely had a really successful week, or I say Wednesday last week at Talladega in the Xfinity car. Of course, D-Bolt's always the guy that's kind of in contention. He's always really good at the strategy and saving tires, and now he has made his way up into the top 5. But look, he goes way up the track. Leahy's going to get underneath him, verging on possibly a 3 wide. Is Noah Rainwater in the 0-5. Maybe thought about going underneath. Oh, someone into the wall hard. Brandon Schumann.
No caution. We stay green for the time being. Schumann trying to keep the car going forward, and he has broken the front clip as well as the tie rod completely.
Yeah, that was a hard lick there for Schumann. I mean, he went up into the wall, couldn't get off of it. You can see just a lot of damage, and he is slow on the time, probably looking for any opportunity to get off the racetrack here.
Justin Clapper in that same corner, by the way, also breaking his right front tire.
Oh.
He is slow on the track. We stay green. He's trying to find a hole.
Wouldn't mind taking a replay here on Josh Ball. He just took a wild ride. Was up in the top 10, fell all the way back now to 14th, went through the apron, or should I say the AstroTurf on the front stretch.
Ball still keeping going, though, but losing spots in dramatic fashion. Let's take a look at what you're talking about here. He was amongst those trying the high side.
Yeah, into the wall there, sent him down. McCrary got incredibly lucky that he didn't come down into him. Great save, though, for Ball. That could have been a whole lot worse.
Continue on with some of the battles. In the midst of all this, D-Bolt trying to find his way underneath Leahy. Robert Walton trying to play the lines. Foley trying to charge into the back of Leahy nearly.
Yeah, you can bump draft in these cars. I would not recommend it here at Charlotte, though. Maybe on the backstretch, I think that is something you could do. Maybe push the guy into the corner a little bit faster than you want to go. I would not recommend it on the front stretch, though. as we're seeing a lot of battling. Leahy is committed all the way up to the top. I'm surprised to see anybody really running as high as he is.
But a few laps of the run, Depot now starting to show those tight signs. And this is around the time of the run last time where the script started to flip to the top line being the better line side by side.
That's definitely true. I mean, you're able to just get such a better run off of that corner. But then again, I mean, Diebold, he's pitted twice so far tonight. So I'm looking at that guy. Has he taken tires both times? If so, he's going to be in a precarious situation later in this race.
Only last time, 54 seconds in the box to fix the car. Only still not able to find things forward. Port Orange, Florida-based driver. Looking now outside Walton, really backing up the corners here all of a sudden in the 66. Now he's under attack.
And it seems like these guys are keeping pretty good pace, I'd say, side by side. But I think eventually, as the tires start to wear, we're going to see that top three start to pull away. Leahy, of course, has gotten clear. He's going to try to see if he can't possibly stay single file, because single file is the way to go here at Charlotte. You want to stay single file, because the more you're side by side, the more you're having to really bend that car into the corners. And that's what causes more tire wear, Justin.
A lot of that conservativeness for some of the drivers. Not so much in the case of Bounty, because he is coming, and Reed Foley giving the push Foley to the back bumper. Trying to push forward the 66. Instead, Bounty still wrapping the blue line to try and make the pass on the fresher tires by a lap. There he goes inside.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys are even using a little bit
wide.
of brake. 3 wide. Oh, contact there with the 66.
Could see that coming. Foley able to still hold on to it, though, to make the pass work on the high side.
I think the reason Bounty was able to do that, because I feel like some of these guys are maybe dragging the brake a little bit to stay on that blue and white line down there.
Tempers flaring, D-Bolt trying to get around Robert Walton. There was contact with them down the back straightaway after the initial pass, and J.D. Woodward, the Monstos, nearly hitting the back end of the 66 in the checkups.
Of course, Woodward has won in these Cup cars before. I'd watch out for that 78.
Charlotte Motor Sports car trying to find his way out of the boxing match. A lot of these drivers from Next Level in the midst of all this scrapping, in fact. You also, on top of this, have Rainwater in one of the DNQ racing cars looking to clear.
Matt Garrett, though, probably in the most comfortable position he could possibly be in. That clean air has been helping him significantly. As we do see, I do believe, Foley going side by side with Leahy right now. He's trying to see if he can't secure that 5th place position. I think he has gotten clear. Now side by side, I do believe, with Bounty once again.
Bounty, though, with that preferred bottom, rather top line for the exit. It seems, though, that it comes and goes in waves, these runs. You think someone's got the momentum, got it down, and then all of a sudden, bam, they end up falling back again. It's like the second you start pushing for more than 2-3 laps, the tires start to cook again.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of it has to do with the corner you're in as well. Like 1 and 2, you can run higher, and it really benefits you quite a bit. But I think running low in 3 and 4 is the place to be. So it's almost like a road course. When you go into one corner, you have the advantage. You go into the next corner, you don't.
By the way, coming out of the pit lane, that is Newkirk. Coming out from pit stop sequences, 3 wide for a moment there. And that may cause a bunch up for the drivers and the teens on back. Newkirk still trying to get up to speed after a minute's worth of repairs. You see him in the AstroTurf trying to let cars go. Famosa just getting by 14th.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind as well, we're about 32, 33 laps into this run right now. We talked about the lap, the fuel window being about 40 laps. That means we're going to be coming up on green flag pit stops very soon.
Link already being warned about the pace right after the pit stop sequence for him as we take a look at D-Bolt again.
Yeah, Matt Garrett having to deal with some lap traffic. I do believe I see Adam Schramm really slow in the middle of the track with a little bit of even a blinking issue there. A lot of lap cars, actually.
There's Schramm right there in the 2 car. So lap traffic for the first time at a green outside of Newkirk. Neeson now following a lap down 2. You can see just how big the differential is from those involved in the wrecks early and those with clean race cars as they go 3 wide.
Yeah, this is definitely a track that aero is so important, can affect the handling of the race car. I mean, this is a track that handling is so important. I mean, if you get any sort of aero damage, it's going to change the handling completely.
Amongst those starting to peel their way to the pack, it's worth noting Tyler Truex, who did not set a time at qualifying. See him up in that group in the red and yellow car.
Oh, big problem from J.D. Woodward into the outside wall on the backstretch.
Speaking of Tyler Truex, he bounces into Woodward, trying to rejoin the track to avoid him.
That was a large hit there for Woodward. I'm surprised he didn't break that toe link.
That was with contact, lap traffic, Justin Clapper. We stay green, more checkups being worn in the heart of this pack with all the traffic everyone's trying to dodge. Oh, and some of the traffic is on the bottom. Clapper. 3 wide lap traffic, heart of the pack.
4 wide.
Oh, this isn't going to work.
This is
but
an
it
accident
does.
waiting to happen, and it somehow does not.
How?
Just some excellent driving right there. I'm telling you, I thought Josh Ball was getting ready to get into the Schramm there.
So everybody in the 20s scrambling. Sherrick Amonsto's now in 20th, who was able to get on through after all of that. My goodness, that has broken up the pack, by the way. 3 seconds lost after that gaggle. J.D. Woodward's now the tail of the group. Matt Garrett still the leader. See Ryan Amonsto's falling laps down, or rather trying to battle in the heart of this with McCrary in the second pack.
What a fantastic race this has been. I'm telling you, I've been on the edge of my seat the entire time. As we see Matt Garrett coming up on some more lap traffic. Greg Vial, I think, is starting to get a little bit antsy here. Maybe try to challenge for the lead eventually.
Boys amongst those with separations, expecting pit stops coming up soon. We are approaching the tail end of the fuel limits for some of these drivers. So now, that leads to the question, how do you enter the pits at Charlotte? May sound simple, but sometimes people forget. When they added the road course or the roval here, they added that wall you see right there on the left side of Justin Clapper's car. That is a hard wall that you can smash into if you speed.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's some barrels there as well. They don't give as much as you think they would. And this is also a track that's very difficult to pit at. I mean, you're going to have to slow down pretty much in the middle of 3 and 4, right in front of someone else. So it's going to be, I say, all about communication. You got to tell this guy that's behind you, hey, I'm coming down pit road.
Line Sun collecting to stay to the bottom of the racetrack for now. In terms of the traffic management, now forced up top.
Also see Leahy and Matt Cherry battling side by side, I do believe, for that 8th place position.
There it is there. I was about to say before the chaos started to brew in, Tyler Truex is your biggest mover of the race. 31 spots gained after not setting a time at qualifying. Make it 32 as Leahy hits the wall.
Yeah, Leahy, of course, has been running up on top all race long. And we talked about that, how that is going to be an option as the tires, I say, mid-run. But I think it's starting to wear on him. I think that, running up there is going to burn the tires up more. It's kind of always been somewhat of a unwritten rule that if you run too high, even at tracks like Kansas that is in the official schedule this week, that's a top groove kind of dominant track. You run up there too long though, you're going to burn up those rears.
Well, looking at the choo-choo train, Bounty third in this line now, passing Ryan Truex a little while ago as the midst of the traffic chaos brewed. Garrett has had the clean air this whole run though. See how that factors in here in terms of the strategy with all of this. Vial has not made any moves on this 3 car. You can see the clean trap has been a major part of this lead advantage.
Yeah, 100%. Last time by, Matt Garrett and Greg Vial were roughly the same lap. I mean, only separated by 1,000th of a second. I'll tell you, the person I'd say to watch right now is probably Noah Rainwater. I mean, he's looking, I do believe, on the inside or trying to get by Foley. Of course, lap traffic there, Ryan Zunk. But Noah Rainwater last time by was really quick, but he just got held up quite substantially by that lap car of Ryan Zunk.
Raindrop having a solid 9. Zunk nearly hitting the side of Cherry for a second, hitting the apron. Looking at the last time laps up on the board at the halfway mark, this is how the laps are playing out. The battle is on for the race lead, though. Greg Vile has now looked to make the move on in the 26. Garrett looking to try and hold on to the outside. Vile trying to find himself to the point.
I think he did lead that last lap, so that's going to be the third different driver to lead here tonight. Can he keep it, though? You see everybody's lined up on the top. Now, at Charlotte, even though this is not your, I'd say this is definitely a different kind of mile and a half in a lot of ways. You still want to have guys lined up with you, but it looks like Diebold has decided to go down to the bottom with Vial. We see Bounty looking through the middle here, so these guys aren't really cooperating very much. Oh, some blinking there from Vial.
Able to still stay on the track, though. Mind you, Diebold in the midst of all this, able to reel in these leaders, still side by side in the midst of this fight.
Look at the fall off.
Yeah, the fall off 1 second. Only 1 second. Some tracks it's up to 2 seconds. Not tonight.
Yeah. Still substantial, though. I mean, it still shows the value, I'd say, of tires. But I mentioned it before. Diebold is, I'd say, an expert when it comes to saving tire. So wouldn't be surprised to see him come in here and do something here later.
Vile gasses it up. Clears on by. Greg Vile for the first time tonight to the race lead. His first laps led, mind you, since Auto Club in the midst of this fight. Still not able to clear full yet.
I love that race car. He's got a checkered flag livery there. He's trying to make it to that checkered flag here tonight, Justin.
Diebold electing to ride behind. Hearing pit stops coming up this time by Rainwater. Cherrick amongst those, indicating the stops are coming. How will this break down for the battle for the lead, though? Bounty saying he's going to come in. Who joins him? Files looking to join in. He's indicated the stop's coming. Diebold backs out of it. Diebold staying on the track, though, as Vile goes conservative on the entry.
Yeah, that was very conservative. He actually went down to the apron, I'd say a little too early. But, I mean, can never be too cautious, I guess. But that's going to cost him some time. And you can see Ryan Truex even. I think he's preparing for green flag stops. He's trying to hey, I want to stay away from these guys while I'm preparing.
McCrary, Foley amongst those coming in. Walton this time. Will Garrett come in? Yes! There's a look at Bounty on the jacks. Garrett hit the brakes and nearly slid up the track.
Whoa!
Here comes Ryan Truex with the confidence.
Yeah, Ryan Truex, I think that he executed a flawless entry right there. Be a little bit of a lockup there from McCrary on the entrance of pit road.
So for no indication speeding. Got your doors amongst those completing service as well in this sequence. First green flag pit stops of the race. Diebold amongst those trying to stretch out the strategy with a 2-second advantage over Matt Cherry. In comes the 38 on a conservative entry. Cherry more aggressive to close up a second.
Yeah, we're seeing kind of two different, schools of thought here when it comes to getting on pit road. Some guys are pitting directly off the track. Some guys are going down kind of in 3 in order to kind of make sure that they don't make a mistake there. But I don't know. I think it might cost those guys some time. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, but we did see Truex was pretty much right behind whoever was in front of him, I do believe. And he didn't really gain that much time, though, Justin. So I think both schools of thoughts might be viable.
Thorny and Famoso still stretching it. More stops. Ball, Jurassic, Cherrick now coming in this time by. We've also had our first speeding penalty under green. J.D. Woodward booked for speeding.
Hate to see that from J.D. Woodward, of course, one of our Cup winners this season. But yeah, McConaughey still out there with Formosa right there behind him. Of course, Nicholas Tomlinson has also decided to stay out. I do believe here comes McConaughey and Formosa, both going to be bringing it down pit road.
Was Tomlinson also coming in this time?
Gajador is still out on the racetrack.
Now, this is Cole Gajador you're talking about on the 42 car on the pylon. Famosa, the Tennessee-based driver in. Ryan Truex, currently the net leader. Able to get ahead of Vile in the pit sequence. Bounty, Tyler Truex, Matt Garrett dropped to 5th after his entry.
Yeah, that just shows you, you race for show, you pit for dough. You could be so fast on the racetrack, but if you make a mistake on pit road, that's it. I mean, track position is so important. Gajador's really close to the wall right now. Yellow flag is out.
It's the big one on the back straightaway. Eagleswood Creations caution. Seth Gajador's involved. Allen Jr. spun around. Neeson also slow from the scene. Robert Walton also spinning around as the yellow flag is out.
Oh, right in front of Ryan Truex. Truex barely misses it. Of course, we see J.D. Woodward was involved as well.
They are still trying to gather it up as we take a look at what happened. Mayhem down the backstretch.
Oh, wow. Robert Walton spinning around doing some donuts there on the backstretch. Oh, huge hit. More huge hits. Wow.
At least 4 drivers make it 6 with mandatory damage from that. That was Daniel Happ. That was half in the 32, by the way.
That was a huge... I'm telling you, that was a barroom brawl right there. And the 66, of course, hit the outside wall, and it just came in like wrecking balls. Look at the 7. Oh, my goodness.
And hearing one of the drivers, Woodward, who was involved in that, has just crashed again. Here's a look at the 7.
He came in, I think he was full speed. Now, he let off. He did let off, but he had so much. But look at that. Wow.
That's called picking a hole. I don't think he knew the 66 was going to be on the other side of the hole.
I'll tell you what, if this was real life, I'd want to make sure he was okay. That was a hit.
Once again, as mentioned, Woodward did go around again in the midst of the caution sequence. But this now leads to some intriguingness with the pace car, at least here. Some drivers in position for waves that it looks like. TJ Lee, Mark McFadden, Daniel Haff, Neeson, Whitehead. Let's take a look at another replay. This is after the caution's out. Woodward does have a broken tie rod.
Oh.
And that caused some scrambling on the radio.
Hate to see that for J.D. Woodward. Ryan Truex also, I do believe, had a very near miss there as well at the beginning of that old, events there. Man, that was, wow, I'm speechless after that one, Justin.
So as we're under caution, I'd like to take the time to mention that tonight's action brought to you in part by RL Productions, a Baltimore-based national video marketing agency specializing in video marketing solutions and commercial advertising. RL Productions offers custom brand strategies tailored to your company or organization's unique goals with in-house level attention to detail. RL Productions also offers complete international event solutions for your conference or convention needs with both on-ground and live stream production capabilities. Visit rlproductioncrew.com to turn your expectations into real-life productions. Taking a look at Condon, driving the RL Productions machine, was very pumped up, as mentioned, as a result of the victory for Ryan Truex. A lot of discussion involving some of the members at the track, thinking, gotta get some video footage of this for Thunderclap.
Yeah, he was there. That was really cool to talk to him before the broadcast.
Now, Munster's working with Jordan Anderson's team for that race weekend. That team's done really well in the Xfinity Series this year as well, with the first victory with Jeff Burton a few weeks ago. But
that's what I love about this series. I mean, because all these guys, most of these drivers out here have hands-on experience with the NASCAR series, whether it be Xfinity. It's just awesome to see that. A lot of tire changers, crew chiefs. I mean, we even have a country music star in Reed Foley. I mean, I love this series. I cannot believe we had the opportunity with Grid Vision to be able to call these guys.
It's definitely exciting all throughout the campaign so far, to say the very least. And keep in mind, Daniel Haff disqualified as a result of, well, flying into the incident. Woodward, Seth Gadgedoris also done for the night.
Definitely hate to see that for sure. Looks like we got a delayed green, probably in order to do a little bit of cleaning out here on the racetrack. Ryan Truex, though, is the leader. Sean Boundy. Of course, this is kind of interesting that this parodies, I do believe, the overall points at the moment. Ryan Truex at the top of the board with Sean Boundy second in the points.
So the top two in the point standings. Up at the front of the pack. Bounty, back-to-back victories. Ryan Truex, most victories on the season so far. So far, when it comes to the case of Ryan Truex, just 2 finishes outside the top 3. Las Vegas with the trucks, Talladega with the Xfinity Series cars. Bounty, for reference, no finishes worse than 11th this season, no DNFs.
Well, that's something to be said. I mean, that is really awesome to see that. So impressive, too. I mean, especially in a series like this, when you have 42 cars that make the grid every week, you're bound to have something happen. But Boundy, he's always out there and still no worse than 11th. That is so impressive.
By the way, Joshua Corwiner out of the race, disqualification. So warnings now given to the race control as we get ready for the restart. Ryan Truex, Sean Boundy, Greg Vile, Tyler Truex, Matt Garrett, the top 5. 4 of those drivers up in the top 5, working together through Tyler Truex Racing or Greg Vile Motorsports. Foley in 6th, D. Bullitt in 7th, Greg McConey in 8th, Cherry Famosa the top 10. Your biggest mover for the restart is Tyler Truex still, who looks to try and see if he can find a way to get around Ryan.
Definitely want to shout out C3X100 for following us. Definitely appreciate the follow and supporting us here.
And an update on your SRI sponsored machines, as mentioned, Rainwater back in the 11th position. Cherry is now back in the top 10 in the 9th position. In that respect, in terms of the others in that respective grouping, the 25 of Robert Condon's back in 26th position. Last, those in that respective grouping, Justin Clapper, 12 laps down, 39th position currently. Coming to 60 to go, still 1 stop to get to the end of the race. Come up to the TLC Incorporated restart zone. It's the battle of the Toyotas up in the front row. Green, green, green. Back up in the air.
Of course, a lot of these drivers on different pit strategies, not by much, by just a handful of laps. Ryan Truex definitely with a really great start. Side by side though, Greg Vile trying to take advantage of Boundy. So Matt Garrett, who led a lot of laps here tonight, he's in that 5th place position, trying to work on 4th, who is Tyler Truex in the 69.
Team boss technically in that regard. Side by side, a couple rows deep. There's a look at Tyler Truex, high side, Matt Garrett, low side. John Bounty, though, trying to find a way to get to the outside of the 56 of Ryan Truex. Caution flag is out behind the Eagleswood Creations. Caution for 19th. Another crash with Condon, Whitehead, several others in turn 1.
Yeah, Gosselin involved as well. 71, he's been involved in a couple here tonight. Unfortunate.
This started all the way in turn 4. Start off things with Condon. This is what you call a long developing one.
Oh! Looks like I do believe Condon got into the back of Lucas Whitehead, probably trying to, Lucas Whitehead I think was trying to avoid this incident, and I don't think Condon saw this coming.
This is the reason for the yellow. There were already 2 cars in the wall in the first place.
Oh, wow. I think he just did a 420.
So that's Justin Gosselin, and amongst those in the wall were Montgomery and Dennis. Dennis driving to the charter, the 81 machine, driven by Louis Robinette.
Yeah, 71 went straight head on into the wall and more contact after the fact. Man.
Then a secondary effect after the first part. They rejoin it.
Definitely going to be a lot of hurt cars after that. At the moment, I do believe we only have 25 race cars on the lead lap.
Done for the night. Newkirk, McFadden. That's as a result of not checking up for the crash. Burleson is your lucky dog. Now to 5 laps down. Everybody else who had a chance at the wave around was involved in that crash ahead of Burleson on the pylon. So as we come up to 57 laps to go, how does the strategy now pick things up?
I'm not sure. I mean, we definitely see some out-of-the-box strategy here. I mean, some drivers do have an extra set to kind of play around with. I think a lot of these drivers probably have it in mind probably to keep a hold on to them, though. Have to wait and see how this all plays out, though. I mean, Ryan Truex, they really didn't go green for long. I mean, just probably a lap or two, possibly. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. But of course, starting at stopping on these restarts still does cause tire wear.
Yeah, the tires and the heat cycles especially that we talk so much about.
100%. Looks like the pace car light's still not out, so I think we're going to go around one more time before those pace car lights do go out. So a lot of these drivers probably looking to possibly have a long run here. I think we're going to get it, just considering we've almost been filtering some of these drivers out, just considering, I mean, those hits, every wreck we've seen so far tonight have, for the most part, a lot of them have been race enders for at least one car.
Which is intriguing for a car that's talked so much about the durability. Say the very least. To some of the drivers getting repairs still. Condon, Montgomery, Jurassic, Seawright's come down several times. A lot of drivers dealing with the damage repair.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned about the car's invulnerability. And, well, I'd say that has changed quite a lot. I mean, if like a month ago, we would have been like, yeah, these cars are tanks. You could probably hit that wall and it'd be perfectly fine. But now it's gotten to where pieces of the race car are coming off, and it almost, in a lot of ways, parallels what we see in the actual NASCAR. Because, I mean, they've added, some, I'd say, Band-Aid fixes to these race cars that soften a lot of these blows. And when you soften blows on a race car, that makes the race car break apart. It absorbs that energy, and I think that's what we're seeing here today. I mean, we're seeing a lot more bumpers come flying off and pieces on the racetrack.
Jumping to the restart. Second lights out this time. There they go. Keep in mind, the next race on the schedule is a short track, 125 laps at Richmond with the Xfinity Series cars. Stages at laps 20 and 60. Going to be an intriguing one, expecting that to be a possible maybe two-stop. Should be two-stop on gas, but the strategies could also be intriguing there as well because of the fuel mileage. Because normally on a one-stop, you can make it up to 110, or rather 100% fuel tank.
Here we go, doubling them back up, getting ready to go once again. Of course, we haven't seen a whole lot of tire wear on these race cars here in this run. But we did see earlier that when they did have a couple laps on the tires, we saw wheel spin. Could that be something we see here now?
A lot of these drivers pitting about 10, 15 laps ago. Again, as we get ready for the TLC restart zone, for the SRI 225, it's Ryan Truex, Sean Bounty, Greg Vile, Matt Garrett, Tyler Truex, your top 5. Second running charter driver is currently Reed Foley. Then Roger Diebold, Greg McConey, Matt Sherry. Riding at the top 10 is Leahy. 54 to go. Still outside the fuel window to make it on full tank of gas. Green, green, green. Now up in the sky.
Great restart there from Ryan Truex. Didn't have a bobble or anything like that. You see Sean Bounty, though. Really good start for him. Side by side for second place. Greg Vial, though, on the bottom. I mean, on these restarts, the bottom is king. But once I do believe the RPMs kind of get up, and a little bit of a wiggle there for Vial off of turn 2.
Well, didn't want to give up the bottom. Bounty able to give the run, though, for second. Here comes the battle for the race lead. Bounty with a good run. Ryan Truex holding firm in the run. Bounty looks high. Now looks down low in turn 1.
Yeah, here he comes. He's going to be side by side. Truex missed the corner a little bit here, or was this on purpose? I think it might have been on purpose. I think he knew 1 and 2 being on the top was faster. So Bounty, yeah, now is going to be under fire from Vial once again. Look at this. Foley coming into the picture. Gets a little bit tight, though, in 3 and 4.
Near contact. Here comes Matt Garrett now looking to take advantage. 3-car single file for the battle for the lead. There's the look behind for 4th. Also in the midst of things, McConaughey trying to hold firm. Tyler Truex looking to clear and does.
Whoa.
Side by side for the lead again as Bounty has the run down the backstretch.
I'm telling you, Truex took a lot of liberties with that block on McConaughey. I'm sure McConaughey in that 12 not going to be too happy with that 69 after that.
New race leader, Sean Bounty to the point for the first time tonight. How do things break down now? Ryan Truex waiting in the wings. Foley trying the high side, most of the others staying middle bottom.
Foley going to get a good run off 1 and 2, though. He's getting a good run right here.
2 and 3 wide. The Vineyard Vines machine really swinging its way around the top side now. Foley's done everything he can to go high side, low side, attack every spot.
Big problems for Tyler Truex. I think he just got into the wall. He falls all the way back to 9th place.
Here's he did, yes. After a bobble, so no damage, but lost spots indeed for Tyler Truex.
A little bit of scrape on there in the right rear. I also saw Leahy in the 34 getting extremely close to that wall as well. Side by side, though, Foley and Vial. Foley has done everything right the last couple weeks. I'm telling you, he was so impressive last week at Talladega, and he's impressing me here tonight.
Very improved from the deputy mayor of his town in Florida. Still trying the high side. Vial in that Race Life Apparel Co. machine, able to keep alongside, though. Foley with the better run, sends it to get clear.
Of course, this exit out of turn 4, though, that's the place you want to be on the bottom. I'm telling you, that is the place you want to be on the bottom, and Vial was able to use that to his advantage. Version on 3 wide, though. Garrett trying to take advantage of this battle. Look at Garrett go. He's getting a good run in 1 and 2. Unfortunately, though, he sacrificed the exit for that good entry.
Reed Foley racing car now moving back up to 4th. 32 spots tonight. By the way, here comes D-Bull, the king of the long run for parts of this season.
Yeah, he's definitely been one that has had really great long run pace. I'll tell you what, I'm shocked that these guys let Sean Bounty get this lead. You give a man like that 35 the lead, he might not ever give it back. Look at Vial starting to pressure Ryan Truex.
Still trying to look like the saving game. Quite a lot. Or trying to save is the rather phrase.
Oh, contact a little bit further back. Sherrick and Given, our pole sitter. They were bumping a little bit there. Oh, you see Sherrick getting a little bit loose off of 2. I was just getting ready to say Samuel Given started on the pole. He definitely hasn't had the best race so far, but he has recovered very well.
Given right now 14th position after immediately losing the lead and then sliding to the grass in the first 5 laps to put him 40th on the track. Since then, involved in a couple incidents. Sherrick, keep in mind, in front, has also been involved in some trouble, is dealing with some damage still. But the RFK Racing pit crew member and fabricator doing well. As we take a look back to where the 5 of Freeman tries to fight with James Seawright.
Yeah, Seawright definitely quite a recovery from him as well. He's had gone from the front to the back, to the front to the back. I mean, so he's now back in 16th. Freeman is one that I always expect to be in contention. And I'm surprised we haven't talked about him tonight.
Especially with how long it's done parts of the season. Cherry was amongst those who did really well in stage 1. Since then, it's been a bit more quiet for car 67 and one of the SRI performance cars.
Now, I do got to mention as well, in the next 2 or so laps, we are going to be having that fuel window open up. As we do see a battle also between Leahy and Ball for that 9th place position.
Take a look at that. Ball, keep in mind, we haven't talked about this too much. Ball, intriguingly enough, entered as the top running driver of the power rankings. That per the power number provided from standings stat sheet software utilized by the series. Ryan Truex, Sean Bounty, the top 3 in the power rankings. Ball hasn't been able to quite put himself up front like these two have.
I mean, earlier in this season, I would have disagreed with you, but I definitely agree with you now. I mean, he's looked really good at certain moments, key moments, I'd say. I mean, he was at one point the points leader, but unfortunately that is not the case at the moment, as we see Ryan Truex really putting, he's throwing the tool bag out. He's throwing the real-life experience he's got out on Sean Bounty right now. You see he goes up to the top there in 1 and 2 to see if he can't build a run. But Bounty, I think he knows, he's not shook, if you will, on the real-life experience there. I mean, a lot of guys, when you race a guy like Ryan Truex, a guy that has won in real life in the Xfinity Series, a lot of times you're like, I'm just going to let this guy go. I can't battle with him. But Bounty is not that guy. He's like, no, I'm going to step toe-to-toe with this guy.
Still trying to hold off Ryan Truex. Keep in mind, Ryan Truex coming off a weekend, combining laps led with Martin Truex Jr. for 192.
Yeah, wow.
Of those during the weekend. You mentioned the statistic with brothers sweeping a race weekend, the 13th time brothers have done so. And I will say this, in the series Discord after that respective race, the next morning actually, people asked, how are you doing, Ryan? The answer was, it was good night. Now it's good morning. He looks to have a good Wednesday, too.
I'm sure they were partying it out pretty hard. He's probably still somewhat recovering from the celebrations that that family had. A little bit of a blinking issue there from Vial, as we are in the fuel window here.
So when do you come is the question. Some of these drivers can go another 9 laps. When would you come in?
I would probably come in at about 117, 118. I feel like you want to try to split it in half. I think it might benefit you as well to come in maybe 5 laps later than that, possibly. I don't know. It's a tough call. Just considering you mentioned it before, the fall off has been about a second when you get late into the run. So I feel like the long cut, overcut, I should say, is not quite as worth it.
Well, someone just took the shortcut. Or rather, the short pit. Tyler Truex is in the 69 to start off the pit sequence. See if anyone else follows his lead or if anyone... In fact, Matt Cherry is following his lead. He's just called in for a pit stop, this time in the SRI car.
Now, one thing about it, though, Justin, you got to keep in mind, even though this is a 1.5 mile track, it's not a super speedway. Draft is important. You do not want to be alone on this racetrack. It could slow you down.
Matt Cherry coasts his way into the pit lane. 32 laps on that respective stint, including the caution laps. Top 9 within 2 seconds. No one outside of Ryan Truex making the move from that grouping, though. Hearing that might change, Matt Garrett has indicated a stop is coming. He is coming this time in the 3. And nearly up in the racetrack again.
I think one thing I'm really learning here tonight is clean air is king right now, because Sean Bounty's starting to pull away from Truex. As we see Matt Garrett, of course, as you mentioned, Mark McCrary also coming down pit road. I'm thinking we're going to probably see Ryan Truex, Greg Vial possibly come down very soon as well.
Formosa's planning to come in this upcoming time by, but for now the top 5 group together. The fall-off difference, mind you, is only 6 to 8 tenths of a second.
Now look at this, though, Justin.
Whoa.
Fastest lap of the race, Sean Bounty, 29.856. He is much faster than the rest of the guys on the short run, and he's still able to have this long run.
Almost thought Ryan Truex was trying to back it up to find space from Bounty. This has opened up the door for Foley to try and pounce, passing 2 cars from that checkup there. That's intriguing.
Isn't that something? He's a Nashville recording artist and a deputy mayor. But look at him on the racetrack. He's able to, race with some of the best in the industry right now.
Still running to the inside now for second. We've seen the similar fall for Ryan Truex during the last run, keep in mind. So this is not a full surprise.
Somebody give this man a contract. I'm telling you, you need to get this guy a real race car. I think he'd do some work in a real race car, Reed Foley.
Who's to say he hasn't been in a real race car?
I don't know. I mean, all I have, the information I have is that he is a Nashville recording artist and a deputy mayor.
Ryan Truex, I think, might be thinking about the stop. No, not peeling in. Almost was taking the universal signal for pit stop this time if you can't put the hand out the window. You know who does come in the midst of all of that? One of the drivers in the teens in Ball.
Yep, I was just getting ready to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. Josh Ball coming down pit road. Now, everybody else should be heading down very soon. It seems like a lot of these drivers are trying that overcut. We do see Sherrick and I do believe Leahy battling side by side for the 7th place position at the moment.
There it is. Ryan Truex is coming in this time by from the top 5. So now the race for the win could come down to the pit stop sequence right at the edge of the fuel marks. Will this be enough for Ryan Truex to get an advantage, or will this become a big fight with these cars?
Keep in mind as well, a lot of these drivers, this is their last set of tires. I don't think Ryan Truex is one of them, but some of these drivers don't have one left.
Foley might be borderline on that. Really conservative Bounty on the entry. Here comes Vile trying to take it hard, had the check up. Diebold gains a lot of ground from that with the early pit box.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen really someone get an advantage from an early pit box.
I've seen it a lot.
But yeah, Reed Foley now up front, kind of all by himself, 2.3 second gap back to Greg McConey. And I think he's going to stay out. Well, caution is out. This is going to change everything.
It's a crash down the back straightaway. Eagleswood Creations caution. They're still crashing. Cherry going backwards down the back stretch. Ryan Truex here is in it. Famosa also involved.
Oh, man, Ryan Truex with heavy damage. He takes the toe. That is going to end his race here tonight. Heavy damage as we take a look back.
Oh, it's Ryan Truex the cause. He came close to clipping the apron the last stop. He clipped it there.
Oh! The 67 of Matt Cherry just pile drives in as well. Hate that. Man, that was quite a significant accident. And I'll tell you what, Justin, I understand why Ryan Truex had that issue. This is one of the most difficult pit roads to exit on.
He tried as hard as he could.
There are bumps down there that will upset that race car if you try to be too aggressive on pit exit.
Also hard hit. Cherry went backwards for a good bit down the back straight away. Here's a look from Formosa.
These guys had no warning here. You see, there goes, oh.
It's almost like the hit was so hard it broke the force feedback on the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing they could do. There was no warning at all, and I'm sure there's some choice words those guys are saying. Of course, Ryan Truex, I'm sure, had no intention of doing what just happened there. That was just an error.
So this has now flipped the field around. Greg Vile, he had taken an 8-second pit stop He's now the race leader, and not sure how this is going to work out. Foley, McConey, Cherick, Freeman now your top 5. And a good number of your drivers who just had pit forced to take waves here. Bounty, Diebold, Leahy, Jurassic amongst them.
That's interesting. I mean, so fuel only stop there for Greg Vile, but I think this is probably a good opportunity. Justin, what do you think for our final commercial?
Why don't we do that? In fact, you're watching tonight's action for the SRI 225. The Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the SRI 225. We've seen one driver top off. That's because Greg Vile, here's with the 8-second pit stop we were talking about, had to take the sequence he took to make sure he wasn't lapped. That's why there was that time discrepancy in him in the lead. As things have now settled, those who stayed out, trying to see how things would play out, Foley, McConey, Cherick, Gibbon, Tomlinson, they got the caution they were all hoping for. They've now flipped the field to become the race leaders. The drivers such as Diebold, Leahy, Jurassic, who are up towards the front, they get to start 12th on back now with 24 to go.
I think that was excellent, really heads-up awareness, though, for Vial to be able to take a short stop like that just to avoid going lamp down. And really shows really excellent race awareness. But I talked about Reed Foley. He's been one to watch here tonight. I expect this guy, he might be able to win this race. But then again, he has not been in clean air yet.
True test coming up for the TLC restart zone. Foley and McConey, the highest they've been all night. Green, green, green. Back underway. Given with a slow start. Cherick, despite the damage, quick on the bottom. Here comes Freeman for fourth as well.
Yeah, definitely highest, I do believe Samuel Givens has been since he started up on the pole. We see McConey having some issues, getting really loose off of two.
McConey getting very loose there after side-by-side with Foley. Now McConey up the hill, trying to hold on. Freeman into the wall. Given checks up just in time. Here comes James Seawright now, looking for fourth himself as the battle's on for second as well.
Yeah, Seawright has not been up towards the front in quite a while. Side-by-side, though, Freeman. I told you not to count out Freeman. Freeman is one of the stronger drivers. Seawright getting really tight off the exit here.
Seawright, lots of damage. You see the side-by-side in front still. There is a look at Seawright. The last time he was up in front, He was closing on the race lead, then that restart to end stage 2 where he tied the tire spin. That put him in the part of the pack. All this is allowing Foley to get an advantage up to 0.4 of a second, partly because of this side-by-side. Now it's up to half a second.
Still got my eye on Greg Vial, though. He's been one of the strongest drivers here so far tonight. I think he's kind of taking it easy right now. Of course, Nicholas Tomlinson also one of the highest positions he's been as well. He's up in, I do believe, 7th right now, battling side by side with the 76 of Gibbons, our pole sitter.
Debo trying to slice through the pack meanwhile. Already lots of shifting just to the edge of the rev limiters for some of these drivers now. Leahy on the bottom 2.
And just a little bit of an update as well of what happened before the commercial break. We saw Ryan Truex, after completing a green flag pit stop, come back up on the track and unfortunately caused a major accident.
Ryan Truex now out of the race as a result of that said incident. One of the lower finishes from the season. Got to a 3rd DNF. Freeman, meanwhile, up the hill. Able to keep it off the wall. Here comes Seawright. Greg Vial coming up and quick. Vial amongst the first of those who had to take pit stop sequences under the caution. Big checkup. Cherick hit by Seawright, saves it but avoids the barrels. Now Seawright gets turned by Cherick as they crash again.
Oh,
Creations caution.
Sean Boundy, I thought he had missed that, but unfortunately Seawright came in and got him. I was looking at Boundy. Boundy had turned one of his fastest laps of the race that last time by. I was really watching that 35, and unfortunately, wow, look at the front end of Seawright, completely missing. He is now a discount modified here.
All this started up here with the checkup with McConey. There's the hit, and there's the checkup effect.
Fortunately, Seawright just not having as much race awareness as I think he should have there. He should have, I mean, maybe he didn't have enough time to check up in order to avoid Cherick. Wow, look at that hit. And you can see how loose that front end was. I mean, when he hit that inside pit wall, and then he came back and hit it again, it just dislodged it. That thing was holding on by a thread, Justin.
Seawright disqualified as a result of that incident. Let's take another look. As mentioned, there was the checkup with McConey. This is the secondary incident where Bounty comes in.
Bounty had this missed. I could have swore he had this missed. That was so close. He missed Cherick just by a hair. And unfortunately, Seawright, suddenly a temporary chicane showed up out of nowhere.
Under caution, under 20 to go, coming to 17 laps to go.
I'd say that I think we just put up our own temporary heartburn turn here at but Foley, I'm telling you, watch Foley. I think this might be his chance to win. Is this not, if he wins this race, would it be his first
of the year? Yes. Now it's the question, can he keep it going? Or rather, can he hold off the battling? McConey is very loose, it appears right now.
Yeah, definitely can see that for sure. He had to check up off the gas quite a bit, and that's why what kind of led to that whole Seawright incident. Vial, though, who started, I do believe, restarted on that last restart back in, I think, 8th or so. He's up to 4th now.
I was about to say, to finish up the pulling. First of all...
I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
Yeah, I was about to say. 2 wins last year in this series. About a year, almost 3/4 of a year ago, was the last victory for Foley. That was in the second season in a truck at Michigan. He led 35 laps that day. Also one of the trucks at Phoenix earlier in that season. The other point, remember how we talked about how Freeman was having a very quiet night? Guess what? He's in 3rd.
100%. I totally agree. Freeman, don't sleep on him. He's having a little bit of a blinking issue right now. Hopefully that clears up. But I didn't. Sorry about interrupting you there, Justin. But yeah, and Vial, I mean, he led some laps here tonight. I mean, you know, had a little bit of a interesting thing happen there to try to avoid going a lap down. Imagine if he did go a lap down. I don't think he'd be in this position right now.
And here's the crazy thing. John Freeman, first season in this series, still looking for his first victory. He's been in the top 5 just once. He's been in the conversation for victories more than that. He'll start inside row 2 coming up. So right now, here's how things are playing out. As 17 drivers are on the lead lap. Amongst those with damage repairs still. Bounty, Topper Truex, Checkered, Robert Condon also getting repairs. Ball recently getting damage repairs done as well. The highest up of those who have picked up damage and gotten most of it fixed is Montgomery in the 6th spot. You also have D-Bolt in 8th. Here is another intriguing story. Starting off the race with issues, Cole Gajadoris. He is now up to 7th after starting dead last in this race and having to take more than a minute's worth of repairs under the first stage caution, losing the lap to get the car fixed after those problems from the initial start. And now he's in the conversation for a top 10.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just getting ready to talk about that 42 of Gajadoris, and he's back in the conversation. I mean, he's had time as well to probably get that car worked on. So hopefully he's got some speed still left in that race car.
Gonna be interesting. Coming up to 15 laps to go.
We want to shout out everybody that has tuned in here tonight to Grid Vision, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. We definitely encourage you to watch us on Twitch to join the conversation, and definitely shout out in the comments who your favorite driver is. Who do you want to win this race? We definitely appreciate it. I'm sure that even the drivers out there will appreciate it as well, all the support you give them.
Coming up to the restart, 14 to go. Foley, McCody, Freeman, Vile, the top 4. Tomlinson, Montgomery, Gajadoris, Diebold, Leahy, Garrett, the top 10. So now, the question. Who holds on at this point, up this mark? Hearing there's some excitement as well because Raindrop is still in the 11th position. I think that's from the respective team. So in regards to things, who do you think's got it?
This is a tough one. I mean, I think I'm looking at it 26 at Vial. He's having a little bit of a blinking issue right now, though, but he has been fast. He's been one of those guys that has been up in the front quite a bit here tonight. He's got a checkered flag livery right now. I mean, I'm telling you, I think that was the right move to pick that paint scheme, and I hope he takes the checkered.
Yes, all right, 225 with 14 to go at the stripe. Coming through the TLC restart zone. Green, green, green. Back on her way. Freeman trying to time it up, nearly into the back bumper of Foley.
Really good restart there from Foley. He's able to hold on to the lead, gets clear, but Freeman able to get clear of McConey. McConey, you talked about him. He's loose right now, and I'm wondering why that is. Oh, a little contact there with Vial and McConey for third.
Freeman still looking. McConey nearly to the back bumper.
3 wide further back here. You see, I do believe the 0-3 of Nicholas Tomlinson right in the middle. Diebold trying to make a move on the bottom.
See that in the backdrop. Still up at the front, though. Battle with Vial getting tight under McConey. McConey drives it into the wall. 3 wide again behind as they rub doors. Garrett slamming off his teammate Tomlinson.
Yeah, that was definitely close, and Diebold able to kind of get away from that just mess back there.
Hearing technical issue warning, Montgomery being told to drop to the back due to technical issues. McConey now looking to settle things in front of Vial as things sort themselves out. Freeman looking to set up the launch with 11 to go for the lead.
Yeah, last time by, Freeman was about a tenth faster than Foley. Looks like he's going to try to go to the top side here, battle for the lead. Foley does lead that lap. I think he's trying to play some mind games with him. Go a little bit high. Make Foley think you're going to go high, and then go low.
JCR car looking to try and get the advantage up at the point. 3 wide in the back hearing as well. Still in the midst of where Leahy is. Still trying to get around. Cacciatore is in the 42.
Also see Sherrick and I do believe Ball kind of banging doors as well for that 12th place position. So there's a lot of action going all over this racetrack. Cacciatore, I should say Jurassic on the edge of the top 10 here. This is where the battling's at, right here, 9th, 10th, and I do believe 11th.
Under 10 to go. Coming to 9 laps to go. Jurassic choosing the middle in the midst of the fight for the edge of the top 10. Jurassic, once those who was up towards the front, ended up getting hit into off the tire spin from C right early. Still not able to get around fully. Now down to 9 laps to go. 2 by 2. Couple rows deep now. 3 rows, in fact, in the first 4 spots here.
Yeah, these guys up in the top 3 are running their fastest laps. Actually, Greg Vial ran his fastest lap of the race, 29.843 last time by.
8 to go. And the SRI 225. Is there enough time for Vial to get up there? That's a question. 4-time winner in this series, looking to try and get a 5th.
Heavy battling going on right back here, even further back. I mean, Noah Rainwater fighting with Tomlinson. Of course, Tomlinson went down on the apron a little bit, down on the apron again. He slides up. Could endanger Jurassic.
Comes Ball as well. 7 to go. Ball now having himself a roll on the outside for 10th. Oh, and Leahy on the apron, getting squeezed down for a moment. Able to hold on to it as he drops back to 9th, make it 10th.
Coming up now to 6 laps to go. Foley with about a 0.2 of a second lead. Vial, though, has caught up to Freeman.
Vial is coming. He's the quickest car on the track by 0.2. Now has to deal with a lot of dirty air. Here's a look from Vial, looking to get around for second. 5 to go at the stripe.
Look at how close he's getting to the back of Freeman right now. Love this camera angle. Got to give a big shout out to Austin Derbyshire for all the awesome camera angles he puts out for us to make this race entertaining. Of course, it was already entertaining, but he definitely takes it to the next level.
What does Vial do here? He's chosen the bottom of the past 2 corners.
I mean, he's got to do something. Now is the time. We're 5 laps to go, coming to 4 to go. Time is running out.
Foley looking to break through for a victory for the first time since 2022. Almost 3/4 of a year since the last time he was in victory lane. Vial looking to become the 2nd all-time winningest driver in series history. Enters the night tied with Thomas Aaron and Daniel Silvestri. Then you have Freeman looking for his first career victory. Coming down to 3 laps to go. Almost more focused in the battle for second than they are to get up to Foley.
Yeah, I think Foley's really has a huge advantage right now, just considering those two are battling each other. I mean, if Vial has been the fastest car here late in the race, the only thing is his obstacle is Freeman. But here comes Freeman, though. He's getting a good run in 1 and 2.
Here comes the run.
Oh, here we go.
Side by side for second. Coming to 2 laps to go. Vial just about clear. Freeman not backing out of it, though. This is what Foley wants to see. Coming down to 3 miles to go.
Yeah, this is exactly what he wants. He wants them to be side by side. Vial not able to really take advantage of 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 on the bottom here. Freeman using the time, but it looks like Vial is going to get clear. Slide job, and it works.
Is that enough for Foley to clear Foley and run away? Coming up to 1.5 miles to go. 1 lap to go up at the stripe, presented by RL Productions. Final lap to decide it for the SRI 225.
Next flag is going to end this. Thought we possibly could have a green-white checker, but it looks like that is not going to be the case, as Vial has got separated from Freeman. This is his last chance. Can he close the distance? I think he ran out of time.
Tonight has been a night full of dramatic twists and turns. Foley comes out of the final corner to win the SRI 225, his first victory since August of last year.
You know, he's got to be just so elated right now, able to conquer drivers that, you know, do this professionally. I mean, like you said, he might, I don't know. I mean, has he ran in real life? Because he looks like he has.
First victory in almost 8+ months. August 24th, the date of the last victory. A lot of happy drivers, likely from this respective run, as he looks to celebrate. He was in the conversation all throughout the night in terms of his passes, able to get the job done in the end with the strategy. Take the dub. For your SRI Performance winning moment. SRI Performance is your all-inclusive performance parts warehouse for hardcore engine builders and racers. Stocking over 450 product lines, SRI has everything you need to find victory lane in your real racing rig, or even your sim rig. 2 convenient locations in Indianapolis and Mooresville, North Carolina help keep you close to the track for all your parts and performance needs. Now through May 10th, enjoy 10% off MPI steering wheels and racing gloves with the code ThunderMPI2310. Head to SRIperformance.com now to view our second to none inventory. Take one step closer to your next win. Already some happy drivers already trying to knock down the broadcast booth doors for the celebration. So let's take a look at the unofficial race results first before we get to our respective drivers. Foley taking the victory, his first of the season, his first since August of last year. Greg Vile comes away with the second spot, his best run of the season. Freeman in third. D. Bullitt and Garrett the top 5, with McConey, Ball, Rainwater, Jurassic, and Cherrick your top 10.
Leahy 11th, 12th Tomlinson, 13th Montgomery, 14th Cole Gajadoris, 15th Robert Condon, 15th Cherry, 17th Boundy, 18th Tyler Truex, 19th Zunk, and rounding out our top 20 is McCrary.
Emily 21st tonight, Burleson, he was up towards the front early, but dropped back quick. Justin Clapper involved with damage early, 22nd. Samuel Gibbons started on the pole, but didn't lead a single lap. He finished in 23rd position tonight. 24th, Lucas Whitehead, Damian Neeson, Ryan Truex was a contender for the victory for much of the way. 13 laps led. Then a crash off the pit lane triggered some late race restarts. Famosa, TJ Lee, Goslin, and Dennis, your top 30.
31st McFadden, Newkirk 32nd, of course 33rd Half, 36th Walton, 37th Cornier, 37th Seth Gadgetors, 38th, or should I say 39th Tommy Allen Jr., 40th Adam Schramm. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty here with the running order here at the end.
I will say the reason for that is we mentioned disqualifications. Unofficially, when that happens, you're put to the back. So the drivers who see that shuffle a bit in terms of the sim is slightly different than what's seen here, hence that part. Again, unofficially, amongst those who had their nights ended early, C. Wright, McFadden, Newkirk, Half, Corner, Gadgetors, Seth Gadgetors, J.D. Wood, and Grant did take the start, but didn't finish a lap due to technical issues. So we'll see how things get scored in the midst of all that. Meanwhile, Reed Foley sings his way to victory lane, his first victory of the season, starting off in 36th, making plenty of passes throughout the night. Reed, the strategy went your way, the ending went your way. How does it feel to be a winner in 2023?
Man, it's awesome. I mean, this league has gotten so much, stronger competition every year and every season. And so each time you win one, it means a little more than the last time. The guys were super fast tonight, everyone, and it was a really fun race despite those, flurry of cautions we had somewhere in the middle.
So let's talk about how things were faring through that pack tonight, because you started off way deep in the field. 36th. How difficult was it, first of all, to claw your way through as the night progressed?
Well, we had a bad qualifying effort just because we messed up lap 2, and so starting in the back, literally decided I wasn't going to race the first 2 stages, and I coasted. The whole team did, and ended up deciding that was going to be our strategy. Once that second stage hit, it just happened to work out that there was that caution that was not the stage, so we pitted, and then it cycled us through and got to restart 10th. So we kind of skipped the middle of the pack, and from that point on, it was just figuring out, were we fast enough to hang out with Vielle and Truex and some of them.
In the end, able to pick up the victory, tied for 4th all-time in series victories now, your 3rd career victory. But that ties you with Tyler Truex indeed now. But next time up, it's Richmond. How confident are you about your short track racing skills?
I don't know. I felt like we had a car to win at Martinsville, and just seemed like wherever there was bad luck, we found it. So we'll see. Richmond's one of my favorite tracks. Charlotte's not, ironically. So I don't know if that's any premonition, but I can't wait, man. It's a fun league, and it means a lot to get out here and race with these guys, and it means a hell of a lot when you're actually able to come away with a victory.
Any shout-outs you want to give after tonight's run, especially to the reference to a lot of the week?
Oh man, shout out to Freeman in that 5. They asked me right before Talladega if I wanted to join them because they knew I didn't have any official teammates. And so while it's not going to count towards the points, I'm on JCR with them now, working together. And he was trying as hard as he could to hold off Vielle for me. I don't know that race wouldn't have been a heck of a lot closer if it wasn't for him. So shout out to everybody over there at JCR. I appreciate them.
Well, congratulations on the run tonight, Reed.
Thank you, sir.
Reed Foley picks up his first victory of the season, gets it done by about 0.28 seconds over Greg Vielle. Speaking of Greg, he's with Brian, coming away with a second place run, his best finish of the year.
Greg Vielle, definitely a fantastic performance there for you. I mean, you were up front pretty much all day long, and of course, that 26 machine looked really quick out there for sure. What do you think you needed to get it done out there? It seemed like, you almost were there.
Yeah, I needed tire, and I needed about 5 more laps. We had that green flag stop, and I kind of ruined it. I didn't have my tires on, so then the caution came out. I had to go back pit. Had to start 10th, drove back up to 2nd. So all in all, it wasn't a bad day, but definitely heartbreaking.
So hold on a second. That's actually an interesting thing you just mentioned. I don't want to gloss right over that. We kind of assumed that you had made that decision to take only fuel only to avoid going a lap down when that caution came out, when you were kind of going through pit road. So you're saying that was a mistake, and it kind of seemed like it might have worked out a little bit more into your favor than could have.
Yeah, the caution definitely helped. I was able to get tires I didn't have to worry about just trying to stay on them old tires. I knew Sean and Ryan were going to be the guys to beat, and I was right there on Sean's bumper going in for that green flag stop. And like I said, that was a total accident. I didn't mean to just take fuel, but in hindsight, it did end up working out for us a little bit.
I mean, possibly that could also put you in the danger zone, just considering, we saw Ryan Truex, who was up in the lead, after he had went down green, did the green flag stop, came up and kind of caused an accident. Did you have to avoid any accidents here tonight?
When the 18 got into the 83, I was behind them. Luckily, they shot down the bottom of the track, and me and the 03 went up top and were able to clear it. But besides that, we had some pretty clean racing on my end.
Well, definitely seemed like you had a really fast race car. Of course, we're going Xfinity racing next week at Richmond. How you feeling about that?
Love it. Big power. So, I'm a big fan of these cars too. I seem to just kind of work good with them, so I can't really complain there. But definitely love the Xfinity series.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you out there, Mr. Greg Vielle. And fantastic performance here tonight. I mean, if you get a second place, I think you're bound to get a victory at some point for sure. Who can we give a shout out to for that 26 machine?
I got to thank all my guys over at GVM. You know, they've had a tough couple races, but you know, I love my guys. They do a lot. ETTR, great group of guys. You know, we always talk about strategy and we practice a lot together, so I got to thank them. And thank you guys for putting on a great show. You know, I love going back and watching the broadcast, and I got to thank Clapper and Justin White for putting on this show every week. It's been good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do next week.
All right. Well, definitely thanks for your time, Mr. Vial, and hopefully we'll see you next week and get to talk to you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Back to you, Justin, with John Freeman, I do believe, our third place finisher.
Hi, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well. A well finish for you tonight. A lot that had to happen throughout the evening. First of all, talk us through the early parts of the race, because we did not see you up at the front really until the field script got flipped.
Yeah, so I had messed up in qualifying just like Reed, and we had both hit the wall coming out of 4. So we started, I think, 35th and 36th, and at that point in stage 1, I had just decided to literally coast around the track and save the tires, just so I could stay at the end of stage 2 and maybe have a little bit more grip than the guys around me to start stage 2. It was working pretty well. After that 15-lap run, I went and actually added a little bit of fuel, even though it wasn't needed, to try to help with the handle of the car. Came back out and was really moving through the field. I think I went from like 36th or 35th up to about 24th, and then I got to that big gaggle of cars, and we had that massive wreck happen, and I kind of had nowhere to go, got collected, got about 3.5, 4 minutes of damage out of it, and then kind of got lucky there with that 1-lap run before the end of stage 2, was able to get a few times to repair all the damage, and from there I was very shocked how much speed the car actually had. Me and my partner JWoww, or Jordan Dworsky, who got in a wreck later, we both were able to drive our cars to the back end of the top 10 with all that damage. So it shows we had the pace. I just had to work through, be patient, and slowly get to the front. And then we got really fortunate with that caution during that last green flag cycle, and it put us in position to show the speed we had throughout the race.
You mentioned the damage. Greg Vial mentioned he thought it was more so needing 5 laps and tires. What did you need to get around fully? Outside of the damage.
Yeah, so outside the damage, I did cook my tires a little bit in that last run. I figured I think it was 24 to go when we went green, and at that point I was like, I'm gonna run, stay with Foley, and kind of see what happens. Those last 2 laps I got really tight, just over pushing it, and tried to hold off Vial for Foley a little bit with doing it cleanly. He ended up getting by me, and at that point my tires were gone, so I just had to bring it home safely in P3. Overall, I believe a fantastic recovery for us, though, and I'm glad to finally get some luck going our way again.
So, Richmond's up next. How do you feel about short track racing?
Well, I had a ton of speed at Martinsville, so I'm kind of hoping I can replicate that, and with Richmond being my home track, it's not my best track, but I'm going to be putting in a lot of work this week and seeing if I can improve a little bit. These guys are super quick, man. Like Foley was saying, the competition's very stiff this year, and if you don't put the work in, you're gonna be left in the dust. So I'm gonna be putting in probably hundreds of laps over the next week.
Any shout-outs you want to give here tonight?
Yes, sir. Obviously to my JCR teammates and Reed Foley and everyone for sticking with us and working together. To DNK Management, who's my primary sponsor, who's taking a shot with me, and you can go to dkmanagement.net for all your rental needs, property needs. They're nationwide. Make sure to go on there and check them out. And they can really help you out with some really good prices and rentals. And then also Mina Peach as well for being a secondary sponsor. They're a little gift shop in Windsor, Canada that you can go to, or go online at minapeach.com and order some picture frames, stuff like that from them. So we appreciate them being on the car as well. And just looking forward to Richmond. And again, I appreciate Justin White, Justin Clapper for putting up with us at times and letting us put on some good shows for you guys. And thank you guys for calling the races, because it's a great broadcast.
Just so happens I'm from Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So now I have to figure out where that is located in the city. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. You have a great night.
You too. That's John Freeman coming away with the top 3. I'd like to thank him, Greg Vial, and Reed Foley for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Grid Vision. Brian, the third stage definitely had a different tone compared to the first and second. Your thoughts?
I'm telling you, this was a fantastic race here today. I mean, we had some, our fair share of cautions, but I mean, I feel like it was just enough cautions. I mean, we saw some heartbreak. A lot of the audience out there probably got very heavily emotionally involved, I'd say, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, Justin, and that's what I come to expect from broadcasts from Grid Vision and, of course, Thunderclap. I mean, these guys put on a show every single week and make our job easier.
Once again, as mentioned, the next time out, we head to Richmond to see how drivers fare out in the NASCAR Xfinity Series cars. 125 laps, the scheduled distance. That expected to be around 20 and 60, the stages for the race, or tire sets available. Catch that action once again on Grid Vision starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that action in the sunshine. It's a day race, after all. But on that note, time to get ready and say goodbye. For my co-announcer tonight, Brian Britt, for Austin Derbyshire, I'm Justin Prince saying so long, enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the SRI 225 and the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC from iRacing's virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Reed Foley, your winner under the lights in Charlotte.